Well, the Happy Time murders kind of just came and went. There was a little buzz, but we all kind of agreed what it was going to be.
It's just too juvenile in its presentation. It's Sausage Party meets Meet the Feebles with maybe a dash of Roger Rabbit for flavor. The problem is the concept is the funny part of this movie. You play everything for laughs, you devalue the joke of having Muppet characters running around in this dark murder mystery.
They should have just played this all the way straight. Something like Hard Boiled with Muppets. You know, just fully embrace the absurdity of the concept and pour as much violence and action cliches as you possibly can into it. You know, like Killer Bean Forever.
I said most people hadn't seen Mystery Men, and a bunch of people came through saying they had, so I had to find a film even more obscure. This film was released 100% independently and only saw one run of DVDs, making it pretty hard to get hold of a physical copy. Luckily, director Jeff Liu uploaded the whole film to YouTube in high definition. What a stand-up guy. So let's discuss him. Jeff Liu is an animator, and that's all I can really say with any certainty. I don't know where he came from or what he's up to now. There is a Jeff Liu who recently helped pay off the school lunch debt of every kid in Seattle, but I can't be sure this is the same person. So let's jump ahead to his film career. Despite being the only full-length feature film Jeff Liu ever released, Killer Bean Forever is technically the finale of a trilogy. The first two were short films Liu created in order to teach himself 3D animation technology. These shorts, called Killer Bean: The Interrogation and Killer Bean: The Party, depicted the titular Killer Bean having various shootouts with other very simplistic Bean characters, one even including a Matrix parody.
Because it was the early 2000s and everyone was making Matrix jokes.
The first one, which I can only find in the very lowest of definitions, looks about like you'd expect an animation made in 1996 to look. Kinda reminds me of those old bowling animations. However, the sequel, which would go on to serve as the opening to the movie, looks a lot better, and at this point, Liu was starting to show some promise. While initially just a learning experience, Liu posted these shorts online where they accumulated hundreds of thousands of hits on a pre-YouTube internet. It garnered so much attention that he began getting legitimate offers to work as an effects animator for big Hollywood films, including The Matrix Reloaded, as well as the X-Men and Looney Tunes Back in Action. But in his head, Liu knew he had to finish the series. Based on the very limited information I have on this film, Liu was turned down by several studios and thus decided to make the film all on his own. The film apparently spent 5 years in development, which is actually surprisingly short considering Jeff Liu himself is the only credited animator. That's an insane amount of work for one man to do. On top of doing nearly everything for this movie, Liu searched Craigslist for voice actors and did a lot of the voices on his own. Apart from Liu himself, there are 4 voice actors playing everyone in the film, and it's kinda obvious. Like, these voices just sound fake.
It's a rough part of town. You always sit with your back to the entrance.
So how is the film? Well, it looks good, but yeah, it has all the problems you'd expect from a film made predominantly by one person. The characters are all really generic looking, and the plot is cliché past the point of being just a self-aware joke. There's also just awkward issues, like when this character is supposed to be turning up the music, but the sound doesn't actually go up.
Turn down the music! How's that?
Someone might have caught that if there were anyone else working on this.
Not that I really have any room to talk.
But the action is really well shot, and it plays the concept of a bean-centric action film super straight. There aren't a bunch of bean puns, or honestly any reason for them to be beans other than it's a funny concept, and because it's easy to animate. Naturally, this film didn't do well. I don't think there was ever a theatrical release of the film. If there were, it was definitely limited. And like I already said, the DVD had a short run, leaving only the YouTube upload from, let's see, May of this year. Yeah, when the first episode of a Filmography of One came out, there was basically no way for me to watch this film legally. Since its release in 2009, Lou has taken a few more jobs, likely to offset the cost of production, on 2 Transformers films and that Tron reboot. But we've had radio silence from him since 2011, that is, unless the school lunch guy is the same Jeff Lou, although I'd guess he isn't considering he never mentions the film on his Twitter page. The best we've got out of Lou and his animations is this Killer Bean mobile app. It's an action platformer, which I guess is supposed to serve as the conclusion to the sort of cliffhanger ending the movie had. But other than that, no signs of Jeff Lou. And I know I say this every episode, but that's kind of unfortunate. Killer Bean isn't the greatest movie ever or anything, but the amount of pure passion this guy put into this film would be worth seeing in something bigger. I've said this before, but I have a lot of respect for directors like Lou, even if I'm usually tearing their films apart. Lou had talent. He was the man whose Matrix parody was so good he got to work on an actual Matrix movie.
And come on, it's an action movie about beans. There's like a 0% chance I wasn't going to share this with you guys. And maybe Jeff Lou's burned out, or he's done everything he hoped to achieve. But I hope he'll come back someday. Until that day, though, Jeff Lou will have a filmography of one. I'll see you next time.